All right, guys, this one is going to be a 2006 Ford F-150 4.2 liter engine. They called me out, no crank, nothing. So the key is in, I've got it on. I turned the key to crank, nothing. See that? One thing I noticed, look at that key, that could be suspect. But if you look there at that light, I don't know if you can see that. You see that? It's flashing, okay? That's also a sign of something else is going on. So let's go ahead and try to pull codes and see what we get. All right, so if you saw that, we've got a issue right now with no communication to the engine computer. Okay, so one thing I do, if you follow this channel, you know it, I always keep some of the most common PCMs with me. This just helps you troubleshoot PCM issues very quickly, and this is a pretty common one. I keep a lot of GMs, and I keep this one, and I've got it in my car. I'm gonna go get it, and we're gonna try that out, and you can see the codes that we're getting. So they're basically CAN bus errors and communication errors to the engine computer. I've got this one, I believe, yeah, it's right here. So keep this with me. So that'll, and I believe the body is the middle connector here. That's why it's missing. I think I used it to program on the bench. It's a good strategy, guys, if you want to be troubleshooting things like this. You know, these are relatively inexpensive, and you can always have them with you and save. You can go at easily an hour troubleshooting an engine computer. Whereas if you have, look at that, I see something. I don't know if that's grease or oil. Looks like that's the transmission connector. Well, that's kind of suspect. You see that? Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and connect up and see what we get. All right, so we got our ECM plugged in. So now let's see what we get. So key on. Of course, we got our flashing light. We got a check engine light. So let me scan now and see what codes we get if we can communicate with the computer. All right, so that's still no communication. So my next step, I'm gonna go ahead and check here. Make sure we have all the proper fuses, everything intact. So let's go do that. All right, guys, it's been about 5 minutes later. Here's what I did. Here's what I noticed, and here's what I did. Okay, so on the fuse box, I already know from experience that these are pretty important for the engine computer, these fuses here. And I think they're oversized, by the way. I think this should be 15s, and they have it like a 20, I believe. Anyway, I had no power. You can see I have power here now, but I had no power to this PCM fuse. And so what I did, this is the PCM relay position right here. So I just jumpered it with a wire to give power to the PCM. And when I did that, I got power here, of course, as you saw. And now I can actually communicate with the engine computer, at least with mine, right? So the next step is to find out why this PCM relay was not being energized. So we're going to need to troubleshoot that. Okay, guys, so you saw the diagram. It gets powered, that relay gets powered by this 5 amp fuse here. And as you can see, it does have power. Okay, so that fuse is good. So I'm going to test the relay. We could just be looking at a bad relay here. So you definitely want to have this tool. It's a very valuable tool to have in your arsenal. Very inexpensive. Head over to our website, globalcommerceca.com, and pick yours up today. So here's the relay, and we're going to put it, it should be, no strange, this has five pins, but it should be a 4-pin relay according to the diagram. Anyway, we're going to put it in the slot and give it a test, and this will test a relay 10 times rapidly to see if it is good or not. Okay, so now we got the relay in, and we're going to press test. Oh, and we just got a solid red light, guys. I don't know if it's showing up red to you, but it is. And that tells us this relay is bad. Yeah, something like this can save you a lot of time. Head over to our website, globalcommerceca.com, and pick yours up today, guys. Plus, you know, we got a lot of other tools, diagnostic equipment, everything for you there. All right, the mechanic went ahead and got us another relay. So let's go ahead and put this one in and see if there's a difference. So we're gonna hit the test button. And there it is. This one looks good. So as you can see, that green light is flashing. It's gonna flash 10 times, 10 tests. And that tells us that this relay is good. And the other one is definitely bad. So let's go ahead and plug this relay in and see if we get communication. And then we're gonna be able to connect the original computer back and see if that original computer is actually fine as well. All right, guys, so if you saw that, looks like a success. So we're gonna go ahead and connect back the original ECM, because now with that replacement relay, I can communicate. So let's plug back the original ECM and see if it'll work and start. All right, moment of truth, we got the original ECM in, and let us see what happens. Key on, check engine light, crank. So now we got a crank and no start. See if our security light is flashing. Looks like the security light is off. So we got a different issue now. Okay, let's check for codes, guys. All right, so I've checked the codes, and if you saw that, there is nothing conclusive by codes as to why the vehicle is just being a crank and no start. So that means we need to check the basics, such as fuel and spark, and see if all that, because the mechanic was working on this vehicle, so he could very well have certain things disconnected. I'm just gonna ask him real quick if he knows, so I might save some time. All right, he said he didn't disconnect anything, so we're gonna disconnect and see if we're getting fuel and spark to eliminate those two things as a possible problem. All right, so we're gonna try this and see if it'll start like this, alternative fuel. All right, let's give this a try. This might be a no spark issue at this point. All right, we're checking for spark right now. No hay chispa, so no spark. Right, I went ahead and checked for the engine speed to see if the crank position sensor was working, and that is good. All right, guys, since we had no spark, I decided to come back to the fuse box and check this fuse, because this fuse here, I believe, is 33. It provides power to the coils, and it is blown. So let's go ahead and change this fuse. I believe it should be a 15. They got a 20 in there. They might have another issue going on as well with this vehicle causing that. So I changed that fuse. Let's see what happens now. There it is. It's actually running, guys. So that's it. That's another fix. I'm going to recommend them to check that ignition coil, those circuits. Possibly they've got some of those things bad or something like that. But that's a fix on this one, guys. If you didn't know this, now you know, and no one is half the battle. Click that thumbs up button, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.